It's a changing of the guard by the Bay. The George Seifert regime is coming to an end in San Francisco. According to published reports, the 49ers head coach is ready to retire. The team has scheduled a major press conference for 8 o'clock tonight, and at that time, it's expected Seifert will make it official. Now, the big question, is it burnout or is it a force out? Seifert has always seemed to be in a lose-lose situation after taking over for the legend Bill Walsh. Believe it or not, he's been the 49ers head coach for 8 years now. During that time, he's done nothing but win. However, winning in San Francisco is measured by only one thing: Super Bowls. Seifert won 2 Super Bowls during his time there, and he has the highest winning percentage among any NFL coach in history. It's expected that Steve Marucci, the head coach at the University of Cal, will take over for Seifert, not Bill Walsh. We'll have more tonight on this story at 11 o'clock. Elsewhere in the NFL coaching shuffle, the Giants have named Jim Fossil as their new head man. The former Cardinals offensive coordinator takes over for Dan Reeves, who was reportedly close to signing with the Falcons. Well, we've got plenty of time to talk about the Super Bowl, probably too much time, but if you're Mike Holmgren or Bill Parcells, there isn't enough time to prepare for the biggest game of the season. Right now, Holmgren is being part cheerleader, part salesman to his team.
They have to be with you, and they have to believe it, and if they don't believe it, one of the differences between now and maybe 20 years ago is they will ask you. You know, maybe 20 years ago they didn't ask so much; they just did it. Now my guys ask, "Hey, wait a minute," you know. So you have to know what you want to do with them, and they got to believe it.
A former Clemson Tiger is coming home and giving back. Chester McLaughlin, the All-Pro defensive tackle for the Oakland Raiders, is getting set to tee up his star-studded golf tournament in Myrtle Beach. Bob Mahalik has the story.
We're having a golf tournament down.
Take away the shoulder pads and the menacing Oakland Raiders helmet, and this nasty All-Pro nose guard turns back into a humble Carolinian.
I know people helped me growing up, you know, as far as guiding me, even though just little sayings, but they kept me out the streets and they kept my head on. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is reach out and help some of these kids and keep their heads on straight.
In May, Chester will be hosting the mother of all celebrity charity golf tournaments.
The NFL Players Association thinks this may be the biggest event of all time, with current and former players to be in one place at a golf tournament like this. And, you know, when you start mentioning Dan Marino, Bruce Smith, Marcus Allen, Howie Long.
You've got some friends in high places.
Well, you know, they're all my peers.
Peers and some of Chester's old friends from his Death Valley days. It will be a weekend trip through memory lane for some Clemson alum. You think back to those defenses that you had in the late 80s, early 90s. Not only was it one of the best defenses in college football, a lot of those guys have gone on to play pro ball like yourself and played it at a very high level.
Well, you know what? We were blessed back then. We didn't even realize it, how much talent we had. And we just went out there and had fun. And I look up and I still talk to the guys. And you look up at the end of the year, you know, look up after you look at the teams of what happened in the NFL the year you've played. I look up and I still see we got 8, 9, 10, 11 guys who were on that defense where we were so good back in those 80s, like you say, late 80s and early 90s, still playing in the league. So that obviously that tells you the kind of talent that we are all blessed with.
And this spring, we'll find out if they can golf. Bob Mahalik, News Channel 15 Sports.
And if you'd like more information on the Chester McLaughlin Charity Golf Tournament, call 1-888-846-5134. Proceeds from the tourney will go towards the building of a youth center in Whiteville, North Carolina, and a college education fund for the Grand Strand. Huge game tonight in the ACC. Clemson taking on Maryland, traveling to Maryland, and the Gamecocks are playing at Florida. And we'll have some testing news from Daytona tonight at 11.
All right, looking forward to 11 o'clock tonight, and we'll wrap it all up in just a minute.
That's right. Some kids were actually looking forward to going to school today. We'll tell you why when we come back. Well, today was the first ever Renaissance Day at Mayo Magnet School in Darlington. Students attended classes that literally came alive. Unique experiments were performed, and even a bit of cultural music, singing, and dancing. And kids didn't go to their regular classes today. They spent the day in classes of their choice.
Looks like a lot of fun.
That's right.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of News Channel 15.
See you on the Night Beat.
Good night.